Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Come on. Come on, YouTube. Send out them fucking... It's usually like a minute in.
I got mine.
Did you? You got yours? Oh! Oh, Jesus. People are fucking crazy. I wonder what that song is. Do you know? Dun, 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 dun. Is that the White Swan? Bum, 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 bum. I think that is the White Swan. Dun, ba, da, 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 dun, 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 bum, bum, na, 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 na. Tchaikovsky, Swan Lake. Yep. Yep. Da, 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 da. My Paul is probably streaming intuition was right for once. Yeah, you checked. You checked and you found. YouTube should send you a thing, but apparently it doesn't. So, you know how that goes. Would DFF ever make an episode where you guys discuss potentialities on how DFF will end? Ooh, the end-isode? That would be kind of fun. Good morning, Pranav. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hey there and hello. Bum, 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 bum. Whoa, I actually got a notification today. Look at you. I think YouTube likes me over here on the shorts. YouTube is like, let's boost this guy up a little in the algorithm. Let's give him a little algorithmic reach. How hot is it in Cali today? Let's find out. Let us see weather.
So it's 80 right now.
78. High of 97 today, which is kind of shitty. It was only 91 yesterday. Mm-hmm. But it looks like it's like mid-90s all the way through late next week from my 10-day forecast. Mm-hmm. It says 97, 98, 96, 96, 95, 94, 95, 96, 95, 95.
Mine's edging a little higher than yours, but...
Air quality index is 46, which is good. The AQI is good in the valley today? What the fuck? Yeah, no, 90 something. Like if it's like 99, 100, that's when it starts to get like, but if it's only gonna be 95 degrees out here today, that's not bad. In the shade, you're talking about like maybe 85, something like that. Probably 10 degrees difference in the shade. Low to mid 90s all week and next week, huh? Yeah, getting sweaty is good. Getting swooty. Suffering succotash. 4 miles, huh? That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. That's a pretty good fucking... Indonesian so freezing? You guys are cold? Fuck. What the fuck? How's Indonesia freezing? 15 pounds to lose before the next meetup. Oh, shit. That's funny because I'll probably, like, presuming the meetup is when I think it's going to be, towards the end of October, beginning of November-ish, I'll probably lose another 15 pounds before the meetup as well, just naturally. I'm losing about 1 pound to 2 pounds a week. So yeah, that makes sense. Have a location yet? Yeah, I think we're zeroing in on one, but we'll see. Yeah, dude. It's going good. We're burning this fat. Thor! Who's the best ASAP crew member? Rocky or Ferg? Ferg. I like Ferg. Isn't it? Wait a minute. Is it Rocky or is it Ferg that does West Side, Bankhead, Oh where I'm from, everything y'all did, I've been done. My shoe game and my true game, can't touch that shit. Bitch that hollering about fuck me. Nah, fuck that bitch. Boom. Fuck that bitch. Or wait, that's Young Dro. That's not even an ASAP. I'm off the map, bro. That's Young Dro. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Baby Kia. I've never heard that one. Okay, which ASAP was it that did Shabba Ranks? That is definitely an ASAP. Is that Ferg? Shabba Ranks. 8 gold rings like I'm Shabba Ranks. 1 gold tooth. Play Baby Kia.
Now playing This Is Baby Kia on Spotify.
Okay. We gonna play it? Are we gonna play it? Or nah? Play Baby Kia.
Cut out that nigga eyes, that nigga over with, huh? Nigga thought I was laughing walking out bleeding, nigga. That's my hood, dickhead. No, I got some big shit. Extra bullets in my trunk suit too. Walk around this bitch like mega man. That nigga free tight K. Gon' blood, nigga. Yeah. Walking down bleeding with that shit. Extra bullets in my trunk suit. I can't wait to let it hit. Bitch wanna walking down that street, you know that bitch can't pull off smash and shoot the cash and shoot.
That young man's got an anger issue. I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with that. I don't know. I don't know where to categorize that yet. I don't think I'm stoned enough. When I get there, I'll let you know. I don't know about that. Yeah, that's what the 13-year-olds. That man is angry. His name is Baby Kia. So I thought he was gonna be like very happy. He's not happy. He's very mad. He's an angry boy. I wonder if that means that the youngsters are angry. Do you think that's what it means? That they're listening to that? He sounds so mad about everything. Yeah, I thought he'd be crying on the mic too. I thought it was gonna be some pussy shit. I didn't realize he was gonna press me. I didn't know you youngsters were getting down like that. That's fucking. Hold up.
Cameras out there, walk 'em down, nobody know what happened. Like, don't know why he did some more, like we don't know why he stayed.
It doesn't even sound like he's on the beat. Kale's been turning uppity lately. I mean, he's getting that age, isn't he? He's getting that age where the uppity starts for sure. Dude, it blows my mind that fucking Kale's like pushing teens. That's fucking nuts, bro. I'm not playing Skrilla Sacrifice, bro. I just tried out a song, okay? If I play that song, then I will get banned from YouTube, okay? No, you can't get a shout out. No, you can't. No, bitch. No, I'm kidding. I was mean. Shout outs, bro. No, I can't even, bro. I can't even think about it, bro. I can't even think about Kale being out on his own, bro. That would mean that I'm fucking like 60 or something. That can't be true. He's getting old enough to where you might bring him to a fucking meetup, bro. Think about it. Couple more years and Kale might be chill to come to a fucking low-key meetup. That'd be dope. I could dig that. He'd have to get the minor band, you know. He'd be all right. I was out of my mom's place when I was 16. Actually, you know what? Maybe no Kale at the fucking meetup. Now that I think about it, maybe Kale not at the meetup. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like when I was 16. When I was 16, a meetup would have been a fucking light day. But I know that Kale is not exposed to the same type of shit that I was exposed to when I was a kid. Oh, I was saying, I was musing about Kale being old enough for you to bring him to a meetup. And then I was like, maybe 16, 17-year-old Kale at a meetup, not so much. I was thinking about me being 16 or 17. Like, if I was 16, a meetup would be a light day. But I was exposed to some crazy adult shit when I was young. So it was pretty normal for me. But maybe no Kale at the meetup. Yeah. Well, I was talking about in a few years. I was talking about like 16, 17-year-old Kale, but that remains to be seen. He's still watching Disney Plus, yeah. Paul, do you get the people that collect swords and Civil War era? Do you get them? Sure, yeah. People collect all kinds of crazy stuff, man. Like, I know how I feel when I get a new watch, you know, like when I see a watch that I really like and I'm like, damn, that would be cool to own. So just like taper that feeling onto a sword or like a piece of Civil War memorabilia or World War II. Yeah, that's what I meant. Not now, but I meant like the fact that he's just a couple of years maybe from the age where you might even consider that is fucking blowing my mind right now, bro. Like, absolutely. We grew up so much faster back then. Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? But do you think that's true? I feel like I was exposed to, like, the realities of adult life. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them by the time I was, like, 8, bro. Like, I knew what getting wasted was. I knew what it was to break up and divorce and, like, cheat on somebody. I knew, like, what drugs were and how they were used. You know, I knew every cuss word. I knew everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, my parents were very like permissive with me. They learned from like an early age that I wanted to talk, that I had this like need to talk. I talked very early. My mom has a tape of me at 9 months old singing "Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so." I wouldn't stop talking. And I loved adults. I loved being around adults and talking to adults because they would laugh, you know, when I would make jokes and stuff. They thought it was cute. And so, like, any barrier that was between me and adult shit was very thin. Very thin. Yeah, at 9 months. It's odd to listen to. It sounds like baby babble, but I'm singing along with fucking Jesus loves me, this I know. Jesus love me, this I know. For the... It's weird, man. Were your parents typical for your generation? I don't know, man. No, probably not. Now that I think about it, no. No, my generation, like my parents, like my friends' parents were all pretty much hard asses. Like they were definitely not going to let you drink, not going to let you be around drinking. They were not going to do a rail of coke in the bathroom and then come out and party with their friends. They were not going to smoke weed, you know, around you or near you or probably at all. So no, I don't think my parents were typical of that generation. Maybe more typical. Like it was probably more normalized back then for kids to be around that shit. What a bunch of squares. They were classy. No, they were not classy. Well, no, they were very blue collar. Like we're talking about like my friends' parents now. They were very blue collar people. But you know, I don't know if classy would be the word. They were just like they didn't cuss around kids. Yeah, I mean, my parents were a little young to be hippies. They missed the main hippie movement by about 2-3 years, but they definitely, like, my mom had hippie aesthetics. My dad was very, you know, 60s, late 60s kind of clean cut white guy. And so, yeah, I mean, they definitely came from that generation. There was you know, my dad married my mom. He graduated high school. They were high school sweethearts. She was a sophomore when they got married. So 16, he went into the army and got, you know, you could parental consent and all of that shit. And she married him at 16. And then he went to the army. He was stationed in Yuma, Arizona, which is pretty fucking South Arizona. And yeah, you know, that was the beginning of their relationship. They were together for 7 years before they had me. I was their first child. Yeah. The hippie movement didn't die, it just diversified and the main core of it shrank. Yeah. So a slap in the face for modern Americans to be neo-Nazis. They might have grandfathers that fought the actual Nazis for real. I mean, yeah. I don't like the fact that Nazis stroll around the streets of this country. It's never felt right to me. I don't think that Nazi ideology and Nazi memorabilia and Nazi fucking displays belong in public. It's one of the very few times I get kind of like authoritarian when it comes to self-expression and like association and shit. I don't think there should be any tolerance for Nazism. I think Nazis should be shamed and socially pressured to fucking abandon their bullshit and at the very least, keep it to their fucking selves. Because when I see, like, video from American streets and there are just, like, these masked Nazis walking around, I'm like, where's the mob? Where's the mob of fucking people from this town to chase these fucking rodents out of their town? I feel like back in the fucking day, that's what would have happened. I feel like you go back into the 50s or the late 40s or something, if somebody was trying to march around fucking a city in America with a Nazi flag and a bunch of fucking Nazis, I think they would have gotten waffle stomped in the streets, and I think that needs to happen a couple of times. No, you can just have some freedom of speech. Freedom of speech absolutism is a trap. Because you can come up with 90 million reasons off the top of your head why somebody shouldn't be allowed to say something. So yelling, oh my God, it's a fire, run, in a fucking crowded theater is the one that people bring up. You cause a stampede, 5, 6 people die trying to get to the door because they think their fucking the theater is burning down, right? And did you have the freedom to say that? Well, yeah, I guess you had the absolute freedom of speech to utter those words, but you're not free from the consequence. That's the problem that I have with a lot of people that label themselves free speech absolutists. They're not talking about their freedom to say something. They're talking about their freedom to say something with no consequence. I think you should be free to purchase a Nazi flag. I think you should be free to purchase a black balaclava and a Nazi t-shirt. I don't think you should be free to walk around in public sporting your fucking Nazi regalia. You've got the freedom to make the choice to dress like that. And I think the consequences of that is that you should get your ass beat in the street. So you're absolutely free to Sieg Heil all you want. But I think that the consequences of that should be the people in the town that you're trying to do that in should rise up and beat you into the fucking ground until you don't come back again. I got no fucking room in my heart for people that have hatred. Hatred of another group of people for some arbitrary fucking reason. You got the right to be that way. You got the right to say whatever it is you think. Do you feel like it's related to safe place mentality? Well, okay, you're talking about safe space mentality, I imagine, is what you're talking about. So, like, kind of this leftist idea that, like, no counter ideas are allowed in this group or whatever the fuck. Which, by the way, is not any different than you would get from a Nazi group, right? If I went as an anti-fascist to a Nazi rally and started going like, hey, this is wrong and racist, they would drum me out of there so fucking quick, right? But when a leftist does it, it's somehow fucking nuts, right? But let's talk about safe spaces. So, in order for us to all live together on the same planet, and in the same cities, and to use the same roads, and just eat from the same fucking plate, there have to be rules. There have to be rules for how we conduct ourselves public-wise, you see? Because if there aren't, then people will take advantage of the numerous weaknesses that polite society has. In order for you to enjoy living in a mass group of anonymous people that we call a city, you need to observe a certain amount of decorum in public. That's the way it works. What if I rock a satanic pentagram shirt? Would someone beating me up be warranted? Christians view that symbol pretty much like a swastika. In my mind, would it be warranted? No. Would it be a consequence of your freedom of speech? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you wear a symbol on your body. People are going to remark on it. I don't think that you deserve to be punched for wearing a fucking satanic pentagram, but somebody else might feel that way. Have you had an awkward experience with a white supremacist or Nazi in real life? Dude, there was one time, and I mean, I've seen people be racist and shit like a bunch of times, but there was one time where it really hit home to me. Really hit home. So my best friend for a long time was a black guy named Brian. Brian and I were going out to this bar. There was this cigar bar where you could get a good cigar and sit down and have a drink, you know. And we decided like, hey, we're bored. Let's go out and fucking chill at this bar. So we go, right? We show up and there's a line to get in. There's a security guy, you know what I mean? And there's a bunch of like white boys in front of us wearing Fresno Bulldogs hats. And he just like checked their IDs and waved them in. And me and Brian step up, we're next in line, and he grabs our IDs and looks, and we start to walk in, and he goes, whoa, 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 bro, to Brian. He's a big corn-fed white guy working the security. He goes, whoa, 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 bro. No hats. And I spoke up, and I was like, dude, the whole crew of people that you just let in all were wearing hats, bro. What are you talking about? He goes, no hats. Take that hat off your head. To my friend. And I was like, fuck this, bro. I just turned around and walked away. He walked away with me. It was the first time that I'd seen some shit like that. Like in public. You know what I mean? Like just rank discrimination, rank unfairness because somebody's black. It's the first time I remember seeing that in my life. Which reveals my fucking privilege. As a white person, you don't ever have to deal with shit like that, or at the very least, not very often. If you look a certain way, you look a little bit redneck, a little bit country, a little bit poor, there are definitely places where you'll get fucking hassled out. But as far as like it just being a bar where like they want people to come in and drink, I don't know if I believe that. You know, I'm more of a, if you want to throw anecdotes at me, I'm more of a, there's a thin line between love and hate. I think they come from the same place. I do. I think that love and hatred are based in the same parts of the brain. It's about allowing a person to affect you. Right? There's a thin line between the two. Very thin. These fucking flies, dude. I swear to God. I'm gonna go get the racket. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna get the racket, bros. Paul, do you think it's weird that many factors lined up for us, an intelligent civilization to exist? No. Because I understand the amount of time it took human beings not only to evolve into our modern form, but to learn. Like that's one of the great things about history is that we can trace the history of civilization, at least as we know it. We can see kind of the era in which these technological developments happened and started to spread. So there are different eras when you're talking anthropology and archaeology. One of them is like the pre-pottery Neolithic, right? Humans were numerous during the pre-pottery Neolithic, but they hadn't started to create these lasting things yet. They were still using very rudimentary tools. They were using very rudimentary animal husbandry, so like raising animals, domesticating animals, very rudimentary planting of crops, fennel and wheat, buckwheat and stuff like that, right? We're starting to plant crops, but we still hadn't learned how to make clay pottery yet that lasted long enough for it to be used for generations, right? We hadn't gotten to the point where we knew how to fire the pottery and create a kiln and all of that. And so pottery existed, but none of it lasted because it was all just basically raw clay. And in the pre-pottery Neolithic, we were using stone tools to create stone monuments. And those stone monuments and stone creations are the last things that remain from that era of humanity. But looking at what they did and how they did it lets us know where they were on the scale of civilization, how close they were to, you know, the Bronze Age, right? Which is when civilization really started to like flourish in a wide way on the planet. But even prior to the Bronze Age, we had the Levant civilization, so Ur, Akkad, all of that, right? Ancients weren't stupid at all. So you talk about a civilization. So if you look at the civilization of Akkad, right? The Akkadian civilization lived cheek by jowl with another civilization in Mesopotamia. And it was the interactions between these two civilizations that necessitated the invention of modern mathematics. So it's so fucking weird. I learned this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Base 12. So they invented mathematics and record keeping using a base 12 system because of how human fingers are segmented. You see how each finger has 3 segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Base 12. We use base 10. But they invented mathematics on a base 12 because of human fingers. Modern record keeping, modern translation, modern scribing, all came into being in the Levant, in Mesopotamia, which means the land between 2 rivers. The fertile, whatever they call it there, you know what I mean? The Tigris or Tigris and Euphrates River. The reason that those civilizations flourished and were able to invent things like mass agriculture was because of the river, right? So the river came down out of the mountains and brought a lot of silt, and silt creates an environment for nutrients in the soil. And so they learned how to divert parts of the river to irrigate things. They would plant these fields of date palms, the Fertile Crescent. They would plant these fields of date palms and then plant things underneath the date palms so that the shade of the trees would keep that Mesopotamian sun from baking the soil. And so they learned how to make levees and dams and how to reroute parts of it, how to irrigate big fields, how to put a price on a commodity, how to keep record books, how to do math, how to reconcile how much this currency was worth in this city versus that city. All of that shit, right, was invented at that point in human history entirely. And one of the civilizations down there, this is also another thing that blows my mind. I can't remember which one, spoke a language isolate which is like super rare, a language isolate. Like you will see a language isolate in places that are like have uncontacted tribes or something like that, right? It's rare. The other language spoken in that area at the time is a Semitic language related to Arabic, Hebrew, Aramaic, etc. And then the other language there, Sumerians, I think, were the ones that spoke it. I think Sumer is the one, right? It's a language isolate. They don't. It's not compared to anything else. Yeah, Sentinelese would be a language isolate. Likely, I don't know. I don't know what they speak. They might find that Sentinelese is tangentially related to Hindi, right? Or some other language from that area. A language isolate is actually super rare. It says that they had a complex language that historians cannot trace with any other language that we know. The order is Sumer, Akkad, Babylon, Assyria, and then finally the Bible. I think, yeah, maybe. That sounds right. That sounds correct to me. We'll go with that. Basque is another one, I believe. And so is, no. I'm trying to think of any others that I know of. They're incredibly rare. Language isolates. Language is typically an evolving thing, and so would the Sumerian language have been. It's just that we have no records of how it developed or where or from who, right? The Sumerians had a kind of like religious story that they came from the sea. And there is a strong current theory that it was the melting of the ice caps, or the melting of the ice caps after the last ice age flooded out a fertile valley that a group of people lived in. And they basically watched their world end. They watched their civilization disappear under the waves. And so they took to the water and found the Fertile Crescent. They landed in Mesopotamia, in the south of it, and created Sumeria. And they brought with them their language, their traditions, and we have no idea where they came from. But people, I think the strongest current theory is modern-day Iran. So on the Gulf coast of Iran, there was a fertile valley that was filled with water after the Ice Age. There were whole mountain ranges and volcanoes and shit that existed that are now deep, deep, deep under the ocean. When the Ice Age happened, all of that ocean ice was locked up in these huge ice caps. And so the habitable parts of the world that weren't locked in permanent winter were incredibly different. The sea level would have been like 100 meters lower or some ridiculous shit. History time with Paul. I know. Sorry. It's just very fascinating to me. This era, this like point where human beings seem to go from this like scrabbly hunter-gatherer tribe kind of based thing to like now we're building cities. That is incredibly, incredibly fascinating to me. Like I just can't, I feel like I can't learn enough about that type of stuff. And I love sharing it with people too. I'll be right back. Oh wait, I'm gonna get some coffee. I need some coffee. It's time to have some coffee. Hello, Dee. Ooh, got you all in check. I got that freaknik shit to make you break your neck. Woo-ha. I got you all in check. Buster Rhymes is in the place. And I proceed. The Ankylosthera mechanism, yes. I know that. I know about this. It's considered to be the first computer. It's an analog computer. And they found it in a shipwreck off the coast of Mykonos, I believe. And it's got like a fucking, yeah, like it changes the way that we think about ancient Greek civilization. But yeah, I'm especially fascinated with that whole cradle of civilization kind of Fertile Crescent shit. There's some crazy shit. Like, have you guys ever heard of the cult of the skull? So this is a pre-pottery Neolithic religious practice that we cannot explain because there was no writing yet. Language existed, but writing did not. Or at least did not exist in a way that was preserved. So when we dig up these pre-pottery Neolithic sites, we find these human skulls decorated with paints, bedecked with different like gemstones and rocks, decorated very deliberately. And we have no idea, but we find them all over, Southern Europe, Northern Africa, and the Levant. So it was a widespread religious belief that existed back in the day that involved what we assume were the skulls of ancestors, which would be kept in the home. Yep, severed human skulls in clay with shell and stone decorations on them, yes. Pigments, dyes, paint, plaster. But we have no idea what the principles of that religious adherence were, what it was based on, how it spread, from whom it spread, right? Like all of that is just big question mark, question mark, question mark. We know where it started or where it like gained popularity, or at the very least we think we know. There's the cave bear cult. These were Neolithic or pre-Neolithic tribal cave-dwelling human beings who apparently revered the cave bear. We find their caves decorated with the skulls of these giant cave bears that existed. There were nooks carved out inside of the caves for cave bear skulls. We find them posted around as like markers of territory. A theory is it was in order to establish ownership of a territory. My ancestors were here, so I have a right to be also. Could be, yeah. Yeah, the short-faced cave bear, yeah. They were huge. They were like twice the size of a modern grizzly bear, if you can imagine that. Maybe a little less than twice the size, if you can even imagine that. Just massive beast. And human beings would kill them or collect their corpses. We don't know, but we think that from some of the skulls have like chips from obsidian arrowheads and shit. Or not, maybe not arrowheads, but like spear tips. So we're pretty sure they were hunting and killing these bears ritualistically. They were over near Palestine. Well, they were all throughout like France, modern day France, Germany, Spain, like the northwestern kind of Europe is where we find a lot of this stuff, all the way down into the Fertile Crescent. Must have been a hard win, yeah. Which is why, you know, a lot of the things we theorize is that like these were trophies to show how strong your tribe was. The amount of cave bear skulls you had on display showed that your hunters were powerful, that your tribe was powerful, that it embodied the spirit of the giant cave bear, right? Whatever. These are all assumptions we make. But, you know, they're probably somewhat correct, right? Were ancient people just like us, the modern luxuries? No, I mean, they didn't have the same access to the wide array of modern luxuries, but yes. Like, there were luxury items, tourmaline, turquoise, like precious stones, right? Precious rocks, precious sites, like religious sites. They had all these things, you know. They're currently digging up one called Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey. And it's blowing away our expectations for the abilities of like Neolithic people to set down giant monuments and to create permanent settlements and shit. Like Göbekli Tepe is a big religious site that they're still excavating. It's huge. That is from a time where anthropologists will tell you that human beings were hunter-gatherers. They didn't stay in one place for long. They moved around. They chased the prey. They moved with the seasons. There were small bands of them. You know, they would probably attack one another and exploit one another or subsume one another into larger bands. But that's what we know from anthropology that human beings should have been doing around the time that Göbekli Tepe was built. But Göbekli Tepe was built in these giant stone monoliths that are just mind-blowing if you look at it. I love that they find weed, too. That's one of my favorite things, is that when they look at these old civilizations, they find evidence of, like, hemp and marijuana and shit. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Maybe not some of the ones we're talking about, but we're talking like Mesoamerican and shit. I love that. Most classical literature is lost forever. So many permanent mysteries. Most of Aristotle lecture notes prepared by students, not himself. Yeah. They found cannabis seeds in Viking graves. Yeah, dude. Yeah, see what I mean? See what I mean, buddy? Ever hear the Neo-Assyrian cartoons? They're skillfully made but gruesome. I think I've seen them, yeah. Pretty fucking crazy. I talk about this all the time, but I'm going to put you guys on to a fucking really amazing documentary called Cave of Forgotten Dreams by Werner Herzog. That's all I'll say about it. You should watch that if you are interested at all in prehistorical human civilization and human ritual and the birth of art and ritual and religion. It's one of the most fascinating documentaries that you can ever watch. For me, like I love it. Yeah. Do you think the marijuana plant has always been the same up to recently? I don't know. I don't know how. I assume it's been kind of like domesticated, so probably not. Disney is still going to make movies based on Nordic myth. I didn't even hear that they were going to do that, so you know more than I do. Flies, go on about your goddamn business. That's what I'm here for, Mimi. Ask any question you want. I can't guarantee you'll like the answer, but that's what I'm here for. Yeah, I mean, like, we've selectively bred plants, so obviously buds are bigger and stickier and danker today than they ever were. Do you support the LGBTQ+? I do. I do. I am myself a B on that spectrum, and I support trans rights. I think trans rights are human rights. And yeah, there you go. Great, great. It's hard to find people. Really? Maybe on this app? Do you support furry rights? Sure. I think you should be able to dress up in a fursuit and run around. How come gold has kept its value throughout human chaos throughout the centuries? Because it's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to look at, and it's rare enough to maintain its value. It's actually easy to work as well. So if you think about it, like gold is one of the softest metals. Very easy to work into jewelry and coins and stuff. So all of that, plus probably 5 or 10 other factors that I'm too stupid. I subscribe to you. Thanks. Because you're a nice person. Well, I try to be. I can be kind of an asshole. If you come around, sometimes you might see me being kind of a dick. But I'm really trying, as I get older, to not succumb to that desire, because I'm really good at it too. Like, I can be really like mean and nasty. And I do succumb to it quite often. But I'm trying, man. I'm on a journey, and I'm trying to be better. I don't want people to think of me as an asshole, but I have to be honest when I say that I kind of am one. Sometimes. I can be a really nice guy too. Who's your favorite singer? Ooh. I mean, all right, this is going to be like a fucking lame-ass pick. But I'm just going to have to say it. Growing up as a child in the 80s, there was nobody more fucking influential than Michael Jackson. Human Nature may be the most beautiful song ever written. It's just fucking, I could put it on right now, and it's just fucking beautiful. So yeah, Michael Jackson, I guess. Teddy Swims. I don't know who Teddy Swims is, but cool. Paul can be nasty, but overall, yeah, I can be really nasty, though. I can be a really mean fucking guy. And it has served me well in my life. I'm not going to claim that it's all negative, you know. But as I go through life, I'd rather not be that way if I don't have to be, you know. It's just a hard thing to give up on. Anger and meanness. Paul's hurt my feelings once or twice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, why? Reaching out into the nighttime. Electric eyes are everywhere. See that girl? She knows I'm watching. She likes the way I stare. And they say, why? Tell them that it's human nature. Why? I know you can handle it, but I still don't like making people feel bad. I mean, yeah, dude, that's the thing. People will say to me sometimes, because they'll watch 1 or 2 of these, and they'll be like, dude, I bet you're cool to fucking chill with. And I'm like, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. It depends, man. I have my dark days. I have my days where it's hard to be around me. And, you know. How has the meanness served you? It's been a great defensive mechanism, right? So I was bullied in school for being a little fat kid. I got fat in the 6th grade, right around the time where it's probably the worst time to get fat. And, you know, I wasn't like hugely overweight, but I was a chubby little kid, and not all that big either compared to some of the other kids. And so, you know, I got picked on quite a bit. And being able to have that like silver tongue, so if like a bully said some shit like, you're fat, and I could come back and be like, yeah, well, your mom doesn't complain when I'm fucking that bitch, you know, or something like that. The kid level of that really served me well. I tell a story all the time about how I shut down a bully in like the 7th grade. His name was, well, I guess I won't say his name, but he was a popular kid. All the girls liked him. His parents had money, so he could wear all the like really cool gear. He had like the Dunks and, you know, well, not Dunks. I guess it would have been Jordans back then. And, you know, he wore like Stussy shirts and stuff. Shirts that were expensive. You know, my parents wouldn't get me a Stussy shirt. So he was a popular guy. He was picking on me one day. And I noticed, and this is how meanness works, right? This story is fucked. I mean, it isn't, but it is, because I guess the guy deserved it, because he was saying shitty shit. But this is how my mind works, and this is the mechanism that I'm trying to unlearn. So in the 7th grade, I knew about soft palate repair. You know what that is? A person is born with a cleft palate. It's actually pretty common and pretty easily fixed. The surgery to fix it is not super horrible, especially if you get it done early. And the only kind of like remainder of it is that you have a scar, kind of like off over here, right? And the term for it back in the day, the mean term was hair lip. And he had come up, he and his crew of people had come up and started yelling some shit at me. And I went over to talk to him. People were gathered around and shit, you know. And he said something to me like, do you think your mom is proud of having a big fat ass for a son? And because I knew, okay, and the reason I knew about soft palate repair is because we had a friend of the family, that, like an uncle to me. My parents would bring him over all the time. He came over to my parents' house to party and stuff, and he'd had that at a time when it was harder to repair, and so it was really bad on him. Like, his scar was bad, and he still had a speech problem. He's one of my favorite guys, but that's why I knew about it, right? And so he walked up to me, there's a crew of people hanging around, thinking a fight's gonna jump off or whatever, right? And he goes, do you think, he said something like, do you think your mom is ashamed of your big fat ass or something? Like, she's got a big fat ass for a son. And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, do you think your mom thought about fucking throwing you in the dumpster when she saw that hair lip? And he literally like went, fuck you, walked away. And I was like, there we go. He never fucking said a thing to me again. You know what I mean? Like, that was the end of that. Super fucking mean, though. Fucked up that I used that little tidbit of knowledge that I had. I don't have a fucking clue what I would have said if he didn't have the hair lip. But that's what I said. I went straight for the fucking weakness, bro. Straight for his fucking weak spot, bro. Straight to it. And it's hair, by the way. H-A-R-E. It's like split like a rabbit's lip. That's why they call it a hair lip. It's not hair like this. A lot of people don't know that. Not to correct you for no fucking reason, but... Yeah, if you look at a rabbit's lip, you'll get it. They have a split upper lip. Yeah, I got into a few fights in my school days and stuff. I won a couple, I lost a couple. I was never like a big fighter guy. Been in fights as like a younger adult too. I did too much drinking and shit in my 20s to not ever be exposed to any kind of fucking bar fight or anything. So I've done my share. But I'm just not one of the dudes that's like, you know, immediately going to go to like violence or whatever. I'm not a big fighter. Whoa, excuse me. That was disgusting. Paul, can you believe there are people out here defending Jack Black on backstabbing Kyle? No. Jack Black fucking backstabbing Kyle Gass so that he could maintain his little Disney career and be like a fucking little goblin in Disney cartoons is fucking the lamest shit, bro. No, there's not a show tonight. We did our show on Monday because I can't remember what it was, but the guys had, I think one of the, either TJ or Scotty had something going on Tuesday and couldn't make it happen. So, yeah, there's no show today. Other than this show. Paul, do it jiggle? Yeah, it do. It do. It do. It wiggle too, sometimes. Gaspar Gomez and the fucking Diaz brothers? Your DP appearance was awesome. Cool. Thanks. It was fun. It's fun to get back in a room with Ben and Billy. I think we got a good rapport. So, you know, it ended up being a pretty fun night. Went long, too. It was fun. I liked that shit. I got human nature in my head. Four walls can't hold me tonight. Paul, do you remember your grandparents? I do. I'm very lucky to remember my grandparents. Because, yeah, I mean, my mom was the baby of her family. She was like, what do they call that when people have a late in life baby? But my mom, so the way it worked out is that my mom, so I had an aunt who passed away a few years ago who was old enough to be my grandmother, basically. And so I was very lucky to have any memories at all of my grandmother on that side. I don't really remember my grandfather. I was too little, but I do have very strong memories of my grandmother from that side. She was very old when I was born. She was already in her 60s, late 60s or 70s when I was born. So I didn't get to know her very long. My dad's side was different. I knew my grandparents over there. Yeah. And my grandmother was just an angel, like literally an angel. So, on my dad's side. My grandfather was a complicated man. Both of my grandfathers were, to put it nicely, complicated men. To put it not so nicely, raging, abusive alcoholics. Yeah. So there's that. That is kind of a poison that haunts my kind of genetic lineage, though. alcoholism and shit. It's very easy for a person in my family to fall into that. Paul, if you had to give advice to someone who wants to start a Howard Stern style podcast, any tips? Just do it, man. You have to do it to get better at it. Like, go watch Private Parts and see how bad Howard was when he first started DJing. WCCC, it's me, Howard Stern. He was horrible. But he kept at it, and he built a career. You can't just, like, be Howard Stern. So, if you want that answer, you can't. You can't start a Howard Stern-style podcast if you've never done any broadcasting. But you can aim for it. Aim high, baby. My biological grandfather killed my bio-grandma. Ooh. Yeah, that's rough. My brother-in-law is a caboose baby, 20 years younger than my husband. Yeah, caboose baby might be the term I'm looking for. I've heard other terms for it. A sunset baby or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Did you ever watch Monty Python? Yes, I watched Monty Python. Half a bee, philosophically, must ipso facto half not be. But half a bee can be a vis-a-vis its entity, you see? La-dee-dee, 1, 2, 3. Eric the half a bee, bump, 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 is this wretched demi-bee. Half asleep upon my knee, some freak from a menagerie? No, he's Eric the half a bee. Doop, doop, doop. I also like Every Sperm is Sacred. That's a good Monty Python song. Monty Python. Yeah, it's good, but it's like, I was worried that Amelia wasn't going to like Monty Python because so many people don't. But we watched, what was the first one we watched?
I think
Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Life of Brian is a great movie, so.
Like, we watched The Holy Grail too, I think.
We watched The Holy Grail as well. Maybe we watched that one first and then
Yeah.
Life, but it doesn't matter. Those are both like great movies to test whether a person has the sense of humor for Monty Python or not. Because it's like 50-50, man. Oh, there's a bunch of people that don't like Monty Python. A bunch of people
don't like absurdist humor sometimes.
Absurdist, dry British humor doesn't hit for a lot of people. It really doesn't. I love it. I love dry. The drier, the better for me. Like, I love dry, wry, anti-humor even. So if you have that kind of, like, proclivity where something's funny because of how not funny it is, you know what I mean? Like, that sort of mindset. Dude, there is something cool over there, and I want to go look. Do you see what I'm seeing? Is that just a splinter on the wood? Or is that like a cocoon?
Oh, that orange thing?
Yeah, you see it?
Yeah.
I want to go look.
Watch out.
Yeah, I know. Landmine City. Where is it? Did it fly away? Am I crazy? Did it fly away? It did. It was a butterfly or something. Okay. Well, fair enough. I was too busy looking down for the dog poop, and it flew away when I approached. Oh, wait. No, it's there. Fuck. Okay. I was looking at the wrong part. No, that's just a fucking leaf. Damn it. Got all excited for nothing. I thought there was like a pupa over there. Or a chrysalis or something. Nope. Just a leaf.
One downside with the temperature coming down is it's now not deadly to these flies, so they're coming back out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. I'm going to have to get the racket. I can feel it. Dude, I was going to tell you a caper this morning.
Oh, yeah?
When I came out, 3 boy cats were capering around on the fence. Dinor went and rushed them, right? Chased one around the corner. One of the little teenagers.
Yeah.
But there was a big Tom with them. And that Tom jumped down into the yard, and when Dinor came back around, you know, he did the woo, 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 and that cat just went, oh, and I was like, Dinor, come here. Come here. He's not a pussy. That's the big daddy of the neighborhood, okay? You come here. But there were 3 teenage cats capering through the yard.
Well, it's because that one girly cat's been running around over here.
Yep. I saw one of the little teenage boys last night when I was sitting out here. Dinor chased, and he was capering. He was just having fun. He was doing that like chirp.
Yeah.
He was trying to get a bird. I think I think there's a bird nest up in this tree.
Yeah, we looked at all those babies. Yeah, they're trying to get all the baby birds
Yeah.
in there.
And he was doing that and just kind of like up and down off the fence, just having fun. And Dinor was not having it. No fun allowed back here. You do a good angry cat. I hear it every day here. This neighborhood is overrun. This neighborhood is literally like, we are just renting this space from the cats.
Yeah.
The cats own this whole fucking shit. You like Russell Crowe? I like Russell Crowe when he's given the opportunity to be in something that transcends his vanilla nature. He is so bland and vanilla. But sometimes you need that because the epic scope is what you're trying to get people to focus on, and he's a good fill-in. So like Gladiator, he's great. I love Russell Crowe in Gladiator. I hate Russell Crowe in... what is that movie he's in with fucking Denzel? Where Denzel plays that black guy that started that heroin ring.
I mean, I'd assume Denzel would play a black.
Well, yeah. Frank Lucas. I was just thinking of the name. Yeah, Denzel did play a black guy, though. He plays Frank Lucas. What is it called? Gangster or something? American Gangster. That's what it is. American Gangster. He's horrible in that movie. Like, that movie is so good when he's not on the screen. And when he is on the screen, he's just sucking all the life out of it. And his side, like, story sucks the life out of the main story. It just shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be there. That should have been just like a Scarface-style bad guy movie where you just follow Frank Lucas and the cops and ops are just side characters. Because making him the main character of that movie was just so stupid. But it's still a good movie. Because Denzel is so brilliant in it. And the soundtrack is so fucking good in it. That it just like transcends. Last night we were watching the opening scene to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Or no, it was Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom, sorry. You remember the dude that has the machine gun, and he's like, brrr, and he's shooting the thing, the son with the hand, the hand that was bandaged up, the son of Lao Che. That actor, what movie was I just talking about?
American Gangster.
He's in that movie. He is the crazy Vietnamese guy that owns the poppy fields that Frank Lucas goes directly to make a deal with. It's so cool. He's been in a bunch of stuff too. He was also in Big Trouble in Little China. He played one of the 3 storms. He's a great actor. He was in Booty Call. He was the Asian shop owner that sells him the lambskin condoms. It's so funny, like he's so recognizable to me that his little bit parts always stick out. He was my favorite thing in that opening thing. I loved his face. Yeah. He has the greatest, like, wild-eyed smile, you know? I love that end where he goes, better luck next time, Lao Che, and he closes the thing, and that's such a brilliant thing. Yeah. he closes the door and you see it's Lao Che's plane, and he's standing there with his son. And he said, you know, I always am looking at the son because he's just giggling. Like, he's so happy that he's getting the last laugh, you know. Could you try doing that smile? No. It looks natural on his face, but it doesn't. It's crazy. He's just great, man. I love that actor. I want to know what his name is. Because I know he's been in a bunch of other shit. Like, he's a really great, he's one of those dudes who, like, I envy his movie career. I would love to be a bit character actor and just make enough money to love doing what I did and be secure. That would be fucking tits. Yeah, I mean, he did have a lot of Asian parts in the 80s and 90s. But there were a lot of those guys, too. There were quite a few Asian guys that were in a lot of shit. Lao Che's son in that. He was the owner of the shop in Booty Call. He was in a bunch of shit, man. Just a gang of shit. He was an American Gangster. He's always a bit part, and he's always great. Back then, it was really hard to break into the American movie market as an Asian guy. I mean, yeah, here, like, there are some obvious, you know, exceptions to the rule, but yeah, you're right. Roy Chow. He's fucking great, man. Is he still alive? I hope so, because he's fucking great, man. He's never in a movie where he doesn't chew the scenery. You know what I mean? Like, that opening sequence to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is so over-the-top theatrical and beautiful that the fact that he's the standout, to me, he's the guy that chews the scenery the hardest in that, is fucking, it's just such a testament to him. He died in the 90s. Aw. Damn.
Yeah. No, that's not the... That's...
No, that's Lao Che.
Yeah, you're talking about Lao Che's
I'm talking about
son.
Lao Che's son. The guy with the machine gun. When Indy's running behind the gong. How many stretches till you become Bruce Lee? There's not enough stretches, bro. I'm not trying to be Bruce Lee. I'm just trying to not be in pain all day. Rick Young, is that his name?
It's hard because it's such a small role, and they don't... there was a while where they just weren't crediting a lot of people in movies.
Let me see. Dealer.
Okay, so his sons, Chen and Cao Kan, Rick Young.
Rick Young.
Let's see.
Is it Young like Y-U-N-G? Or is it
Y-O-U-N-G.
Rick?
R-I-C.
R-I-C-K?
No, R-I-C.
Okay, Rick Y-O-U. Rick Young. Okay, Malaysian-born British character actor. Where's this picture?
This guy was in, he was Mao Zedong and Nixon.
Yeah, I think that's him. Let me see. Yeah, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, American Gangster. Yeah. This is him. Early life. A Malaysian Chinese. Young was born Wing Hua Young in Kuala Lumpur. In 1944, he got his start taking part in radio sketches at the age of 12. He trained as an actor at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art under King George the Sixth Coronation Scholarship. He moved to LA to study method acting. Cool. Under Shelley Winters. Wow. That's actually prestigious. Some of his best known roles include Cao Kan in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Bruce Lee's father in Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, Mao Zedong and Nixon, General Shang Jing-Wu in 7 Years in Tibet. I remember him in that too. Mr. Kwai in The Transporter, and Henry Lee in The Corruptor. He teaches acting. That is so cool. That's really neat. I never knew about this guy. Yeah, let's see. He's been in a ton of shit. Bit Roll. He was Confucius in The Terror of the Tongs. I've seen that movie. That's an old Chinese kung fu flick. And then in 2007, he was Kun Sa, an American gangster. Wait, no, this isn't him.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the other guy. Look. This is not him.
No, this guy, it says that.
Oh wait,
he
that's
was
the
in
real
Booty
Kun
Call.
Sa. That's
Yeah.
the real Kun Sa.
Yeah, it says this. It says Rick Young was in Booty Call.
Yeah, he was. Okay, Mr. Chu. Okay, fuck. That was the. I didn't know he was based on a real guy, but that makes sense. Okay, we're good. Son of a bitch. What's your favorite kung fu flick? I'm not super well versed in kung fu flicks, but there's I love Jackie Chan's kung fu shit. So like Return of the Drunken Master and like that whole line. Those are really good. Terror of the Tongs is pretty good too. But I'm a big Jackie Chan fan. I love how abusive he is to his own body in getting the shot. It's another thing I give like Tom Cruise props on. We were watching the Jack Reacher movies, and it's like 95% of the stunt work in those movies is done by him. Like if he's driving, it's Tom Cruise driving. If he's jumping off of a fucking building or something, it's Tom Cruise doing it. If he's taking a fucking bump like through a trash can or something, that's not like cut away, get the stunt guy. Like Tom Cruise does his stunt work. He insists on it. It's awesome. I love that. Because like even some of the greatest fucking action stars in the history of history use stuntmen.
Did you see his Olympics closing ceremony thing?
Yeah. Tom Cruise sucks. You know what, dude? I'm a Tom Cruise apologist. When it comes to his acting work, I think he's bona fide, bro. Risky Business, fucking Mission Impossible, Born on the 4th of July. The list goes on and on and on. It's just Tom Cruise win after Tom. Now, if you don't like action flicks, cool. You don't like Tom Cruise's fucking like politics or his religion, cool. I set all that shit aside. He's a bomb-ass fucking actor, bro. I don't care if he's a psychopath. Klaus Kinski was a legitimate psychopath. He's one of my favorite actors.
I feel like you don't get really great artists like that if they're not a little crazy.
Well, crazy, like there's that whole line that like there's a thin line between insanity and genius.
Yeah.
And sometimes that line is blurry and sometimes it's non-existent. Like a lot of the craziest artists in history have been legitimate crazy, you know? Pain is a great incubator for art. Mental anguish, a kind of sense of like, what do they call that? Just kind of like a hatred for the human race. What do they call that? Like a human that hates humans.
Oh,
I'm brain farting. Not a misogynist.
misanthropy.
Misanthrope. Yeah. Yeah, misanthrope. Yeah. A lot of great art comes out of people that are that way. You know what I mean?
It's also, I think, like, if you feel othered, you might want to pretend more.
Yeah. Well, sure, yeah.
The mask you build to fit in.
Yep. Like Brian Wilson is a good example of that from the Beach Boys. Was he the one that hung out with Manson? I don't know. I'm not a Manson historian. You'd have to ask that one to TJ. TJ would know.
I think they mean Charles Manson.
Oh,
You're
Charlie
talking
Manson.
About the Beach Boys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there were murders in that house, right? Sharon Tate was murdered. Well, no. The Manson family stayed with the Beach Boys for a while. Yeah,
They just hung out there.
right. It was what you call it? The director that's exiled now. It was his house that she got killed in.
Polanski.
Yeah, Roman Polanski. Yeah. It's bad that several audience members wanted to share that they know what a human that hates humans is called. No, I mean, misanthropy is pretty fucking common.
You just lose words sometimes.
Sometimes you need it, and like the act of needing it creates confusion because it's like the Rolodex starts flipping and you start thinking of every other fucking word except for the one you want. Would Gen Z be paralyzed without internet? I don't know about paralyzed, but it would definitely be a fucking shock. If I was a parent, let's say I was a parent, and I wasn't conscientious about my kid being on devices like a lot of parents aren't, right? Let my kid have a phone at fucking 10, and before then they had a tablet. I let them watch stupid videos all day and shit, and I don't do anything to like monitor their fucking life, right? I try and imagine what it would be like, because when I was a kid, right, there were things that maybe I liked, but maybe not to that level. Like video games, or riding my bike, or getting to go out on the weekend when I was a teenager or whatever. Those things would be ripped away from me by my parents. The things that I really wanted to be spending my time, my free time doing. Those were used as punishments if I did wrong. Can you imagine what would happen if you just pulled the internet plug off of a kid?
Well, I think when they mean by like paralyzed, they mean like, would they know how to ride a bus without looking it up on their phone? Would they know how to drive somewhere?
That's a
without
good point.
GPS?
Would they know how to use a map? Would they know how
Would they know how to go into the bank rather than just doing it on the app?
Would they know how to like get anything done? Yeah.
Would they know where to go to get?
Would they know how to like
forms?
go and ask for applications at places, and like all the things that you would have to do in a non-internet environment?
Like, they know how to go get a money order.
I don't think it would
money.
just be Gen Z that was paralyzed by this, by the way.
Yeah, it's so out of...
Dude, my parents are ancient, and they are so reliant on their apps and devices and their internet shit that they would be fucking like, maybe they'd have a better chance at it because my mom knows how to go off in the bank.
Yeah.
But it's like, it would still be an adjustment period, even for people in the actual boomer generation, my parents. And so, yeah, let alone mine. Like my generation, whichever one you put me in, X or millennial, we were raised on the fucking internet. Or most of it, you know what I mean?
Would you
Like,
know how to go find, like, current kids, but they know how to go find an encyclopedia to look up something.
right.
Or,
Like, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
Would a current kid know how to use, like, the Dewey Decimal System to find a book?
or, like, at least, like, the glossary index
Yeah.
of a book to find something.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, at the library, if you were looking for research books and you wanted to pull cards and have the librarian help you find a stack of books, would you be able to do it? I don't think you would. You know what I mean? I don't think I would anymore. It's
Well,
been
a lot of libraries now have, like, the Dewey Decimal, like, on a little poster, so it's not like you have to know it by heart.
right, but I mean, like, you still have to be able to thumb through their little fucking cards and find the books and shit, right? Or do the librarians just do that now?
Well, like, last time I went, like, the Dewey Decimal was, like, on the shelves, and then, like, the shelves were labeled by which...
Oh, yeah, maybe it's just... I just remember having to do that in high school for research papers and shit. I had to go find, like, if I had a topic, Nixon, then there was a way to go to their fucking cards and find Nixon books, like books that maybe weren't named Nixon,
Mm-hmm.
but that were about
Yeah.
Watergate or whatever. Yeah, it would have been high school the last time I used it. But oh yeah, no,
What
I
other stuff like. Oh.
well, like the reading comprehension thing comes into it, right? It's like we talked about how like reading comprehension is at an all-time ebb, and in order to get the same level of information that you would get from your phone and watching people on the internet just read the news to you, you would have to read the paper. And you would have to have the attention span and the reading comprehension to read a paper from front to back to keep yourself informed about what's going on in the world. And then you would have to have something else to do other than post online about it. I think that would be paralyzing for a lot of people.
Trying to cook without looking up recipes, like having to go get a cookbook from the fucking library or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Or follow a recipe that somebody wrote out for you, or figure it out from a recipe you kind of used to. You know, like you'd have to figure things out on your own. Like people would have to buy encyclopedia sets again, because having that basic knowledge, the ability to like, you know, like how deep does abalone?
Would they know how to order
fucking-
encyclopedias without the internet?
Right. Would they even know like how to manage an encyclopedia? I don't know. It's like now you can just talk to your phone and it'll just read to you anything that you want. You know, it'll read you any little factoid that you want. You don't even have to read it anymore. It's odd, you know?
You know, I mean, you've kind of gotten a little crippled by it too. Like when we had that car problem, like, would you have been able to figure it out just from the manual, or do you think the YouTube video showing you how to do it?
I mean, eventually we would have stumbled on it, and it probably would have been a combo of both.
Yeah.
I was about to go grab the fucking manual out and start thumbing through it, because I know that there's a fucking way to get a stuck thing unstuck. But yeah, thank goodness there was an electric vehicle saint there. So alarmed at how seemingly almost robotic-like we are becoming as a society. Robotic-like? I don't know about that. What is something that kids today don't understand the struggle of, like dial-up internet or fapping to magazines, remembering landline phone numbers of friends? I mean, all those things.
People had Rolodexes. It's not like you had to remember.
Yeah, I mean, address books. Well, you know, my dad carried around a little black address book with his wallet.
Yeah, like
It's
my
all-
grandma still keeps that. Like,
Yeah.
with everyone's addresses and phone numbers and shit.
So if he needed to remember somebody's phone number, he had it right with his wallet all the time. He'd pull it out. It was all tore up, but he could flip through it. Oh yeah, Dave. His number is this, and he could call. So it's not like people were completely in the dark before the internet. It's just, you know, there's a lot of like modern convenience. Like I think most kids couldn't dial a rotary telephone. Like, do you think you could dial
Well, I
a
mean,
rotary?
I've done it.
You've done it?
before, But like, I mean, just getting rid of the internet doesn't change phones. You'd have to get like a, like I'd assume you'd still have the cell phone.
It would change
just-
this.
I mean, like the phone itself isn't the internet though. Like you could just dial.
Well, it's the cellular network, which provides access to the internet.
But I'm just saying, like, you could still dial on a phone even if it's not
I
connected to the
guess,
internet.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You
Like, you
can
don't have to
still
go
call.
back to rotary phones because the internet.
If you've got bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you get the home phones aren't rotary. You're going back too far. You're trying like.
Well, that's me though. That's going back just in my time. Yeah. But yeah, I am going back too far. You're probably right. I love you, baby. Damn, I've been sitting out here in the sun. Look at this shit. And bullshit. There we go. Now there's shade. Look at that. What a novel concept. Sitting out here getting toasted. Roasted. Made crispy. Oh shit, is that the real Billy? Billy, 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 Billy the fridge. Billy the fridge, building a bridge. Billy the fridge. What's up, Big Bill? Big Bill? Man, I'm gonna hold you to that studio time, bro. I'll chip in on it, but we gotta do some fun shit in November, bro. Just get in there and talk about doo-doo and poo-poo, you know? Rap about doo-doo, poo-poo, pee-pee, caca, doo-doo. A true sweet boy. A true sweetie. Yeah, Billy rightfully had drama with Leafy. He saw the writing on the wall, dude. He knew Leafy is here was fucking shit. Yeah, buddy. I've never really done studio work with an engineer and shit, so you'll have to forgive me for my lack of knowledge about the situation. But I think we could cut a fucking dope track. It'll be fun to try at the very least. Paul, at what age should a kid just not be allowed any screen time at all? Bruh, if I had a kid, and I don't, if they were below the age of like 10, I don't even think they'd know what a fucking screen was, bruh. Like, they might get to watch a movie with the family before they went to bed and shit, but that's it. You know, I might get them like a Game Boy or something. But as far as like plopping a phone in my kid's hand, I think 10 is the first fucking time I would do that. And then the phone that they got would be locked down. It would send me reports. It'd be telling me when they tried to do something with it. The whole thing. Word, Billy. It'll be fun, man. I'll let you guys know, like, because we're going to change our plans a little bit, I think, because we were just going to kind of, like, go for a couple of days, but I think we're going to try and do a week, like, up there, so that I have time to come and, like, chill with you and Ben a little bit. Maybe even pop on the show in person. That'd be kind of fun. Come to the new studio. But however that works out, I'm thinking about expanding my time down up where you're at for Thanksgiving, and then a little extra something. Hey Paul, you keep missing my chats. I want to know your thoughts on Ukrainian push into Russian territory going on last night. First nuclear power since World War II. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like escalation. I don't like war. I don't think it's a smart thing for Ukraine to be counter-pushing into Ukrainian territory. I think it just, like, pushes that nuclear clock closer to midnight, right? Oh, man. I just got extra stoned. How did that happen? Yeah, me too, dude. I wish I could rap like Billy and Dracula flow. I wish I had Dracula flow's drip and Billy's bars. Too much sun and stoned equals nightmare. Yeah, I'm not in the sun though, dude. I'm like fucking in the shade now. I was in the sun for a while though. Maybe that's it. Maybe I baked my noodle. I baked my noodle a little too tough. Let me see. Has it gotten hotter? Yeah, I bet it has. I bet it's fucking way hotter now. It was like 89 or something last time. They're saying it's still fucking 87 here. I don't know if I'm buying that, bro. Let me open that again. Maybe. They're saying it's not going to get super hot till like 3 p.m. That's when it's really going to be noticeable for me, probably. So I got some time to chill. That means I need to go do my stretches, though, my morning shit. So I'll be back in like 5. Don't go nowhere. Oh, shit. Good point, Chair. Good point, Chair. I've been reading the Tao Te Ching at night. And it's kind of like underlining how far from the Buddhist ideal I am. I don't know how to do some of the things that it prescribes, but they sound very interesting. Like, listen to this. When we renounce learning, we have no troubles. The yes and yea, small is the difference they display, but mark their issues good and ill. What space the gulf between shall fill? What all men fear is indeed to be feared, but how wide and without end is the range of questions. The multitude of men look satisfied and pleased, as if enjoying a full banquet, as if mounted on a tower in spring. I alone seem listless and still, my desires having as yet given no indication of their presence. I am like an infant which has not yet smiled. I look dejected and forlorn, as if I had no home to go to. The multitude of men all have enough and to spare. I alone seem to have lost everything. My mind is that of a stupid man. I am in a state of chaos. Ordinary men look bright and intelligent, while I alone seem benighted. They look full of discrimination, while I alone am dull and confused. I seem to be carried about as on the sea, drifting as if I had nowhere to rest. All men have their spheres of action, while I alone seem dull and incapable, like a rude borderer. Thus I alone am different from other men, but I value the mother, the Tao. So basically, the part of the Tao that I'm struggling with, by the way, the Tao means the universal source, right? Nothingness, emptiness. And it is when you allow your mind to touch emptiness, when you allow yourself to be free from desire and expectation, free from the desire to control other people, and free from the desire to influence events. When you accept the world and its chaos as it is, you are existing at one with the Tao. The Tao being the great nothingness, the great source, the space between. And so what you heard in the last part is part of what I'm struggling with. It's this idea that letting go of the struggle to be correct, letting go of the self entirely, so that you no longer care about being correct in the eyes of others. There are things in the Tao like only when you forego your wants and desires, only when you forego yourself will men respect you, or will people respect you. And I don't know how to do that, you know? Like, that's the part that I'm struggling with in this journey, right? That I'm trying to go on, or I am going on. There's no, do or do not, there is no try, right? But when I listen to the Tao, or when I read the Tao, I always find myself scratching my head at like, well, what is there other than? Like the Tao will talk about a man at one with the Tao does his work and walks away. And that's deep to me, because my work is my life, right? And it always has been. You know, the Buddhist ideal is not a man that does no work. The Buddhist ideal is a man who does his work and walks away. He does what he came to do, he does what his job is, and then he leaves it at the job. Let go or be dragged. Right. And that's, I struggle with these things, you know, like, hold on. Let me find another one that I was struggling with the other night. Listen to this. This is a tough one for me, okay? I struggle with this one. Chapter 23 of the Tao. Abstaining from speech marks him who is obeying the spontaneity of his nature. A violent wind does not last for a whole morning. A sudden rain does not last for the whole day. To whom is it that these things are owing? To heaven and earth. If heaven and earth cannot make such actings last long, how much less can a man? Therefore, when one is making the Tao his business, those who are also pursuing it agree with him in it, and those who are making the manifestation of its course their object agree with him in that, while even those who are failing in both these things agree with him where they fail. Hence, those with whom he agrees as to the Tao have the happiness of attaining it. Those with whom he agrees with as to its manifestation have the happiness of attaining it. And those with whom he agrees with in their failure also have the happiness of attaining to the Tao. But when there is not faith sufficient on his part, a want of faith in him ensues on the part of others. So listen to this. It goes on, right? He who stands on his tiptoes does not easily stand firm. Talking about trying to rise above the crowd, making yourself stand out by standing on your tiptoes. He who stretches his legs does not walk easily. That means if you stretch your steps, your walking, instead of being pretty natural and automatic, becomes pretty ridiculous, right? He who displays himself does not shine. He who asserts his own views is not distinguished. He who vaunts himself does not find his merit acknowledged. He who is self-conceited has no superiority allowed to him, for such conditions, viewed from the standpoint of the Tao, are like remnants of food or a tumor upon the body, which all dislike. Hence, those that pursue the course of the Tao do not adopt or allow them. What the fuck what is a guy that does what I do for a living supposed to do with that? Don't assert your positions. Don't try and be correct. Okay. What do I do? That's all I know. And the Tao tells me that until I let go of everything, my desires and my thoughts of myself, my desire for respect, my desire for acknowledgement, until I let all of that fucking shit go, my heart is sick. My heart's clenched, as it says in the Tao. My heart is clenched. And as long as I hold on to these things, my heart will never unclench. A follower of the Tao is not supposed to look at himself. He is supposed to look outwardly and see himself in everything. I learned that having an ego is fine, having an overly inflated ego is not. Having no ego is the goal of Zen Buddhism. Oh, that's a big bumbler. I love bumblebees, man. I love a big bumblebee. They're scary to me, though. They have no, they won't sting you, but they're just so big. I was scared by one as a kid, but I learned to love them. I love watching a bumbler. Do you chant? No, I don't. Wasn't a queen bee, it was a big black bumblebee. Oh, kitty. I don't know, man. I feel indicted when I read the Tao. I guess that's probably to be expected. Chapter 28, who knows his manhood strength, yet still his female feebleness maintains. As to one channel flow to the many drains, all come to him, yea, all beneath the sky. Thus he be the constant, excellence retains, the simple child again, free from all stains. Who knows how white attracts, yet always keeps himself within black's shade. The pattern of humility displayed in view of all beneath the sky, he in the unchanging excellence arrayed, endless return to a man's first state has made. Who knows how glory shines, yet loves disgrace, nor e'er for its pale, behold his presence in a spacious vale, to which men come from all beneath the sky. The unchanging excellence completes its tale, the simple infinite man, in him we hail. So this is talking about simplicity. This is talking about like not allowing yourself to be overly concerned with the complexities of over-interest in the passing of years and the passing of governments and the passing of laws and the passing of wars, but to keep your mind childlike. To me, that's very unattainable. But what that was saying is that if a man can embody that people will come to him. Like that is how you assert power and remain at one with the Tao. It's a simple choice between selfishness and selflessness. Be aware of what you speak, even when you speak. That's tough. That's a good point. Never speak until you know what you're saying. Seems fundamentally easy, but it's really hard for a person like me. I'm speaking extemporaneously. I'm coming up with these thoughts on the fly, and I don't consider what I say a lot of the time before I say it. I'm thinking 3 sentences ahead. I'm getting to a point, right? Interesting. I like this one. Now arms, meaning weapons, however beautiful, are instruments of evil omen, hateful, it may be said, to all creatures. Therefore, they who have the Tao do not like to employ them. The superior man ordinarily considers the left hand the most honorable place, but in the time of war, the right hand. Those sharp weapons are instruments of evil omen, and not the instruments of the superior man. He only uses them on the compulsion of necessity. Calm and repose are what he prizes. Victory by force of arms to him is undesirable. To consider this desirable would be to delight in the slaughter of men, and he who delights in the slaughter of men cannot get his will in the kingdom. On occasions of festivity, to be on the left hand is the prized position. On occasions of mourning, the right hand. The second in command of the army has his place on the left. The general commanding in chief has his own on the right, his place, that is assigned to him, as in the rites of mourning. He who has killed multitudes of men should weep for them with bittersweet grief, and the victor in battle has his place rightly according to those rites. So this, I'm in accordance with this. I don't like weapons. I will never touch a weapon unless I absolutely am compelled to by necessity. If I were to ever hurt somebody with a weapon, I would mourn that person's loss, and I would mourn the damage I did to that person, no matter what reason I did it for. I would not revel in killing another person or hurting another person, So I feel like I'm in accordance with that, if nothing else, right? The Tao, considered as unchanging, has no name. Though in its primordial simplicity it may be small, the whole world dares not deal with it as a minister. If a feudal prince or the king could guard and hold it, all would spontaneously submit themselves to him. Heaven and earth unite together and send down the sweet dew, which, without the directions of men, reaches equally everywhere as of its own accord. As soon as it proceeds to action, it has a name. When it once has that name, men can know rest in it. When they know rest in it, they can be free from all risk of failure and error. The relation of the Tao to all the world is like that of the great rivers and seas and streams from the valleys. This is talking about inaction. The Tao is only the Tao when it is at stillness, right? And then its inaction informs the action of rain, storms, heat waves, snow melts, right? Pizza. Yeah. Pizza. The perfect way is only difficult. What was that? The perfect way is only difficult to those who pick and choose, make a hairbreadth difference, and heaven and earth are set apart. To be for and against the mind, to be for and against is the mind's worst disease. Yeah, that's the part of Buddhism that I struggle with, is letting go of my desire to be correct and my desire to involve myself in the affairs of the world and to have an opinion on every little fucking thing and to present myself. Here I am, here's my opinion. I don't know how to reconcile that with what I do. There is a lot in the Tao about how a man should do his work and leave it. So if my work is opinion, then I must only do my work when I'm doing my work, right? And then I have to live in the absence of those desires when I'm not doing my work. I have to leave it. That's what the Tao says. A man who's with the Tao does his job and then walks away, right? I don't know. It's a struggle, but it's an interesting struggle to try and reconcile these things with my own actions. How do you feel about Stoic philosophy, like Marcus Aurelius stuff? I think Stoicism is interesting, but I don't think it's some sort of like key to happiness or contentment. I mean, I think it can help people, and I certainly think that there are people that would benefit from a more Stoic view of the world. And I do think that Stoicism and Buddhism they're not at cross purposes a lot of the time. But yeah. I'll never be free from illusion and desire unless I'm free from freedom. Easy. Oh, shit. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This guy's got it figured out. Rest of us are all just dying to catch up, and this guy's got it. He's got it all. He's got 100% of it fucking figured out. The rest of us pale in comparison. Some people need Stoicism, I think. Because I think that there are people, especially now, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like a lot of people now are just a bundle of raw nerves, just waiting for the wind to blow and stimulate them the wrong way. And I think Stoicism is kind of against that. You know what I mean? third eye opened. Would you rather be in a cell with Vosh or Boogie? Neither. I'm not gonna make that choice. I think Stoicism could serve as a good catalyst too, and as you say, for some people out there, maybe, yeah. Oh, nice morning, doves. Give us another one. Love those morning doves. He's perched up on somebody's roof right now, doing his little calls. And there's a hawk in the sky, too. I don't know if he can see that. Ooh. That hawk is circling. Oh, shit. That hawk is wheeling. I wonder if that hawk sees this bird. Oh, my God, that hawk is coming. Nope. Oh, maybe. Seeing a hawk come down and snatch a dove would be crazy. I know hawks can see. Like, if I can see that hawk can see the dove. It's just a matter, is he looking here? The drama of nature. Paul, should drones ever be allowed to take a human life? And what are the philosophical implications of a machine executing a human? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm anti-war, so I'm very much against people taking human life for political causes or whatever. But I think it's already happening, and there's nothing I can do about it, right? I stand in opposition to using a weapon against another human being when it doesn't absolutely need to be done. And I guess what triggers that absolute need differs from person to person, philosophically speaking. You should be president. No, thank you. Pass. Fuck the doomed. You're on your own. I'd vote for you. Well, that's one. That's one person that would vote for me. No, you guys can't see the hawk. He wheeled. I mean, he was way off in the distance. The camera probably wouldn't have picked him up, and he's gone now. He's wheeled away somewhere else. Or she. Probably a she. But red-tailed hawks are indigenous here. They're beautiful, and I love watching them. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. It's been fun. I'll see you.